Chapter. It is Thursday, June 2nd, 2022 at 6:02 p.m. If I could have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. So the first thing is Warren, Prospect Street improvements, water main installation and drainage improvements through Rural Development Fund, up to $400,000. That's one of the grants from Chris Dumpy is going through.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we have a letter from the water district dropped off today saying they will be partners with us. Chris
Okay.
needed that also.
Very good. All right, and Chris Dumpy's working hard on that, and that's moving forward, and
We will be submitting our application tomorrow.
very good. All right, so you guys have any questions about that?
Nope. Looks good.
Looks good to me, sir.
Okay. Anybody, questions? No? Okay. So the next one is FY '23 Warren, and it's School Street improvements. It's the streets, sidewalks, drainage, and curbing through the Mass Works program, up to $1 million.
Okay.
And that's another grant through Chris Dumpy working on. And we're progressing with that one also, correct?
That is correct. That will be a part of the one-stop grant as well. There'll be two different projects that will be submitted for grant funding tomorrow. One Prospect Street, one School Street. If I could just get the board to accept those and to authorize the chairperson to sign on behalf of each of those letters. So we can just have records of the votes for each of those.
All right. No motion?
All right, so I'll make a motion to accept and have the chair sign the Prospect Street improvements and the School Street improvements.
Okay.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. And I'll sign them. Okay. Good?
Good.
Okay. So line item transfers. Need to make a motion to accept each transfer. So, with these transfers, there are a couple of them that we need to address from the Board of Health. And we'll get to that. You ready?
Sure. All right, I'll make a motion for the following line item transfer for the Board of Selectmen from Secretary's salary to Selectmen Services / supplies for $2,889.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes.
I'll make a motion to do the following line item transfer from, it's from the Board of Selectmen, from health insurance to legal, $30,000 and $30,075.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion to approve the following line item transfer from the fire department from health and wellness to ambulance expense, $1,000.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion for the following line item transfer, the fire department from health and wellness to fire expenses, $1,500.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion to approve the following line item transfer, the fire department from ambulance training payroll to ambulance pay, $2,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion to accept the following line item transfer for the fire department from ambulance training to ambulance overtime, $2,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion to accept the following transfer, line item transfer, the Council on Aging from SCM Elder Bus to maintenance, $1,465.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion to accept the following line item transfer for the Board of Health from health insurance to health agent purchase for
Pause on that.
That's okay, that's okay.
That
one's okay.
That one's okay.
For $1,000.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a
Yeah.
motion.
It's the landfill ones that.
Yeah,
we
The
got.
last three, yep.
Yeah, okay. Make a motion to approve the following line item transfer for the Board of Health from Board of Health office salary to health agent purchase for $600.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye.
And then the next three we,
The
Oh,
next
we're gonna-
three,
okay.
so
Should I make, well, I can make.
Jim has some input on those.
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. These last three line item transfers came up relative to the landfill. The landfill is an enterprise account, as everybody knows, and because it's an enterprise account, you can't transfer to and from the omnibus to the enterprise account. It needs to be done at a town meeting as an article. So these transfers, however, they were submitted by the Board of Health, signed by their chairperson, are not correct. They would not be allowed to be transferred, so the board could either vote them down or not act on them.
Okay.
I guess we can just not act.
Yeah, because they filed, well, the process is, we just can't take it out of there because it is an enterprise fund. And I don't know if they knew that they couldn't do that. I'd hate to vote it down because it looks like we're turning them down and telling them, no, they can't have the money. But if we say we're not gonna act on these, they need to find a different means, because again, they can't utilize this money. If you could get with them and explain that.
Sure.
Are you guys good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds more human.
Yeah, I wanted to present these to the board because they were signed by the chair, just so that the board knows that that's what they were trying to do.
Just let them know that we can't act on them because, again, we legally can't,
Mm.
as you explained very
Yeah.
well. Thank you.
Does he have to make a motion for that?
Just no action.
Yeah.
No action. The board reviewed them, no action. I would note in the minutes, no action was taken.
Okay,
And we did discuss it.
yeah. I would put that in there.
Yeah.
So warrants,
All right, I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants. Number 99 payroll for $48,297.65. And,
separate. You do them separate, right?
no, just,
No.
I can do all the warrants together.
You can do the warrants too.
Yeah.
Number 100 for vendors, $477,163.80.
Second.
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. We're gonna pay the warrants.
Make a
Okay,
mo,
Bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the following bills. National Grid streetlights, a credit of $20,000, $20,337.43. KP Law for $5,144.28. WB Mason for $75.22, Northeast IT for $2,243, and Kelco for $253.33.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, so minutes. We have the amended minutes, looked over them. I was good with them. Rich made some changes. They were good.
Yep, okay.
Should have been an English teacher.
All right, so I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from May 26, 2022.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay,
Nope, we have the 19th.
The 19th.
Now I do the night 19.
That I can't do.
okay.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from May 19, 2022.
Okay, second it. All in favor?
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, so we're all set with that. New business. So the Council on Aging Board okayed the new town van driver.
No, that should be the custodian, part-time custodian.
Sorry.
The part-time custodian.
Yeah.
Okay, so they okayed the new custodian, and it's a Palmer resident?
Palmer resident, yep, he has some experience in security matters. He's going to be starting his onboarding process next week, and hopefully to get him in front of the board relatively quickly, so for you guys to review.
Very good, very good, thank you. Do you have any new business?
No.
Do you have any new businesses?
No, sir.
Okay. Old business.
Wait,
Oh,
new business on the Council of Aging wanted you to just acknowledge that they had 3 people apply to become Council of Aging. They actually had 4. They voted on 3, and they have 1 that did not get the vote, and they just want you to acknowledge that so
Okay.
that they can let the person know that did not make it.
and is that in here?
Should be, under new business, it should be, yep, right there. The votes are right here on the second page.
Okay,
So just acknowledge that
so they want us
3
to
people.
acknowledge
they had 3 people
In
voted.
public?
Mhm.
by
You don't have
name?
to- Nope, just acknowledge it. that they
Okay, so
did
we
that.
acknowledge they had 3 people that they voted for, and 1 that was a no vote for.
That's it.
They don't want us to say the name?
She just said you needed to just acknowledge that they had 4 people apply, they voted for 3, and then she'll let people know who made it and who did not.
Okay.
That's what Kathy asked me to do.
Okay. Well, congratulations to the 3 that made it. Better luck next time for the 4th.
We'll appoint them the 1st of July.
All right, sounds good.
So the board would accept it, just to accept the report.
So I'll do a motion to accept the Warren Council on Aging Senior Center report for the applicants.
Second.
All in favor?
Derek Bailey's aye.
Rich Hacker, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. I'm not used to doing the motions. Out of my element for a second.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So, old business now. Do we have any old business? I don't see anything in there.
How come board alignment isn't on here?
I don't know.
There's no agenda item for board alignment?
Realignment of the board.
It was on the thing, I don't know why it's not on this one.
Is it posted?
It is posted,
Okay, that's all we need.
yeah, it is
Okay.
posted.
So we could do that as, well, we could do that as a realignment of the board.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys wanna do? I have no problem remaining the chair, but if somebody else wants to do it.
I proposed David to stay on the chair,
Okay.
Rich to be the vice chair.
Okay. Are you doing a motion?
I'm proposing. I make a motion to have David Dufresne as a chairman and Rich Iker as a vice chairman.
Okay. And
Second,
all in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes. And I'll do a motion to have Derek Valise as the clerk for the Board of Selectmen.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
David Dufresne, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
All right. There we go.
Yep.
Simple now.
Okay.
So if anybody asks, we did it.
It will be in the notes.
There's a question in public.
All right.
Joe has a question.
Yes, sir.
Joseph Condrat resident. Since I ran against Derek, if I had won the office, I would have accepted the clerk's position and allowed you to accept your president's position.
Well, thank you, Joe. And again, you know, there are always other town offices and there's other chances, so, you know, continue to try to support the town in any way you can. And thank you very much for anybody that steps up and helps out with the town. It's greatly appreciated. As you see, what we do and being in office and witnessing stuff that goes on all the time, there's a lot.
As you can see by the audience.
Yeah. It's not a heated night. Okay. So any other old business?
Can't think of anything?
Okay. So some old business, we touched upon it last meeting about the active shooter working group that we're looking into. The police department's still working their part. Chief Millette is still doing some footwork on that, correct?
Yep.
And he should have a report to us for
We didn't do it first.
presentation.
Yeah.
A presentation on what you found, and we're gonna start up with meeting with all the department heads and that are involved in this. Again, fire department, highway, police, school committee, school department, should have the superintendent of the schools, along with the principals to each schools, so we all can work together. CERT team should be a part of it, because they're gonna have some stuff to do with it. They may have to be blocking roads and closing off things, along with the selectmen. All three members should be attending that to have input on that, so. But this is something we definitely need to work on and make a high priority. You know, it's extremely important to address this. I was at the elementary school today for my kids' chorus recital choir recital. I seen Adam there. And the kids did a great job, the school did a great job. I think they really addressed a lot of concerns. There was, Police Officer Fortin was there, giving out high fives and making sure everybody was safe. And that's always great to have. And there were an abundance of teachers watching out for everybody and doing their part, and that was great to see. There were extra measures taken for an event like this, so that was good to see. We just need to make sure we keep up our vigilance and we don't become complacent. So, did you have anything to add, Chief?
No, I don't think so. Not on camera, at least, when we meet in our group.
Okay. Did you have anything?
Yeah, we had a couple of little medical things when that was there. It was hot in there. We did have, we kept a close eye on things. We did have a couple people inquire if they could open doors and whatnot, and we did not allow them to do that. So, I mean, those are things we're gonna be working on to make sure that that becomes the standard, that, the school stays secured regardless. And we can address HVAC issues and other things down the road, but, generally speaking, there was a lot more people that showed up to that than they expected, to be honest.
There was a lot of people.
So we had to kind of scramble to make sure fire doors were clear and things were there to do that, because even when I walked in, there was more people that clearly that they were caught off guard by how many parents actually showed up, which is great participation, but, we had to make sure the fire doors were clear and whatnot, and, we did have a couple people, ask if they could open them up and everything, and we worked together to make sure the message was, no, they were gonna remain closed for safety reasons, so.
Very good. Thank you. Did you have anything in
No, none of this, no.
it? Okay, good.
Nothing from me.
There.
No, sir.
Okay. I did get some contact with Dextrust on the police department, and they did all the sprinklers. They submitted their stuff for the sprinklers, and they're excuse me, tried through. They're working on some of their permitting and finalizing some of that, so we can move forward with that process too. It's an abundance of permitting in a building like this, so, and they're dotting all their i's and crossing all their t's for it. So that is moving forward. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important to mention that I know this process is taking a long time, but there is a lot that is required, and is the state building inspector, right?
Yeah.
Is really making, sure that things are done correctly,
And our building commissioner is on top of it too, and making sure that everything is being presented and everything is being done by the book for this building, because it's a private building, but a police department is going in there, and there's a lot of other things that had to be done, seismic testing and all kinds of stuff to make sure the building can withstand certain things. So they're doing their diligence. So it's not as simple as just having a building and move them into it, as we're finding out. We wish we could do that, but we make sure we have to do everything by the book. So, all right, so that's moving forward. And I think that's it for old business for myself. Town administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board. The report is brief in nature this week. Just a couple things to report on. One was that happened today was we met with James Gusti, our CPA, and our auditor. Myself and the accountant met with Jim. You will see that there's a management letter, kind of like a shortened version of the actual report that is on your desk, not in the binder, but on your desk there. And it's a copy that kind of goes over the findings, and there were no findings, but it goes over in detail what exactly that they looked at, what things that they're going to be checking into for the future, And overall, one of the highlights to this management letter was during our review, we found that the 3 offices of the town treasurer, the town accountant, and the tax collector have done a very good job in establishing internal accounting control policies and procedures. In addition, they're doing a very good job of performing the required reporting, and reconciliation work. Those are key functions to any financial department, and for the auditor to come out and say that gives a lot of credit to the treasurer, the accountant, and the tax collector for the work that they do. It is a very technical job those 3 offices hold, and can be a very demanding job. And for the auditor to come out and highlight that in his management letter, it does speak volumes for that. So I wanted to point that out to you. One thing that was noticed during our review, that the required accounting journal entries related to fixed assets and acquisitions and depreciations were inadvertently not recorded by the town accountant. So that was a thing that was discovered. It was corrected. During our next audit, we'll review these accounting entries to make sure that the depreciations and the acquisitions are going to be accounted for correctly. But that was discovered, and it was adjusted correctly. So those were the 2 key points of that. Other than that, there were no findings, which is very good when you're dealing with an audit. One thing that was brought to the town's attention, and what we have to prepare for, is the town has received federal funds in excess of $750,000. And because of that, is going to be required to be audited. So those funds are going to have to go through a single audit. The town accountant has drafted single audit procedures, for accounting of that. Has disclosed that to myself, has disclosed that to the treasurer, who's also going to be playing a role in this audit as well. Because of this, there's going to be an additional expense for this audit that has to be performed because we received this. The auditor is estimating that this additional expense could be around $8,000 in addition to the normal audit that he conducts every year. So that is something that we may want to reserve when we get our next round of ARPA. The board may want to reserve that in anticipation for getting the audit done. But that is one thing that was brought up.
Okay. Thank you.
And then another thing that had transpired this week, I know the board had looked at this voice over IP system a couple weeks ago. Myself and Karen had a video conference call this week with Comcast, trying to gauge where we are in terms of system upgrades, what can our system handle, what speeds we're at, and how productive would a voice over IP system be for the town. He's going to, the gentleman that we had the video conference with, he's going to provide us with an analysis and ultimately make a presentation in front of the board on what he's suggesting for recommendations of speed for our bandwidth speed, and for Comcast also has a program for voice over IP as well. They are in that business as well. So I'm sure that they're going to be incorporating, what their costs are to do something like that into the presentation in front of the board. One thing that both myself and Karen were intrigued by was that Comcast owns their infrastructure for their voice over IP. So if their system goes down, they have a nationwide system. They're on top of it. Whereas I know the the other person that made the presentation, Valley Communication, you know, they were like a vendor or of some sort. They subbed it out to a third party to do their infrastructure. So this would be something that, you know, pros and cons when you're looking at something like that. So we did listen to that this week. I don't know, Karen, did you want to add anything to that, or?
No, I brought up the point that we have not great Wi-Fi in, and he said that we could do 2 boosters in the building for free, and that might help our Wi-Fi in the building. So I thought that was interesting.
And he did say that the current speed we are on, the business speed, is the lowest speed, and that would definitely need to be raised in order before any voice over IP configuration would be dealt with.
You know, we'd have to look at what the costs are, because it's not just simple as just putting in some new phones.
Oh, right, oh, yeah.
You know, we have to upgrade the infrastructure to
Sure.
be able to support those phones, and how much is that gonna cost us to do?
So we'll have some additional information coming down for the board to review in that, because I know the board was interested in something like that, so that's gonna be coming down the pike as well at some point.
And are they gonna give us quotes on what it would be for the VoIP system for them too?
Yes, they will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Other than that, that's all I have for the report for this week.
Did you wanna talk about Cornerstone Bank?
Sure. Mr. Chairman and myself had the opportunity, because of Mr. Chairman's, you know, pushing for the town, really fighting nature, was able to push one of the attorneys from the Division of Banks to get us on a conference call with the commissioner of the Division of Banks. Really unheard of, you know, being able to get to that top level. And so I think it was, you know, the steadfastness and the determination that was led by the town to get, you know, the letters out there, to make the phone calls that the Board of Selectmen made, to get the issue out there, really helped and raised the issue of what's going on at Cornerstone. And with regards to the Division of Banks perspective, they're taking everything into consideration. It's highly unusual for this bank for the Division of Banks to have not made a decision yet. They're taking into all of this testimony that the town has given them into making their decision, which I think is remarkable for them to do that. And they've stressed additional communication with Cornerstone. We sent out another letter this past week to Cornerstone to try to engage them some more. The Division of Banks had indicated to us when we had spoke on the phone on Friday that they are going to be meeting with Cornerstone sometime this week, and, you know, encouraging a discussion, a continued dialogue with the town, whether it be to do some type of footprint in town, whether it be an ATM of some sort or something to consider. So I think that they were really concerned that Cornerstone the communication level wasn't there. And they have actually, you know, taken into fact, you know, all of the stuff that Warren has provided to the Division of Banks to make it as almost like a model for when they close, when other banks ask for branches to be closed, to have a public process. And this is what I think our chairman was really driving at, was to have that public process and to have a dialogue. And one of the questions that was brought up at our meeting was, well, how come, you know, if the city or if the town had moved its banking services? I said, well, we have to protect the town. We have to protect the interest of the town. But if they had a really dialogue with the town and explain the process instead of just posting something on their door, you know, that says we're going to be closing in 3 weeks, and not have that public process, that really hurt the bank, in my estimation. And, you know, I think that they would have had, because one of the first conversations that I had with Mr. Tolman was, he was very clear that, that there was community support for the bank from the beginning. And obviously, when you post that you're gonna be closing in 3 or 4 weeks, you know, the community is in panic mode.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have to protect their interests as well. So, you know, it was unfortunate that they chose that route that they chose to make this decision. But I think that it has opened up a dialogue and a discussion that would have never happened had it not been for, you know, the interjection of the Board of Selectmen. And that's to everybody's credit.
She did mention that, what was it, the Warren, she said that she would name
The Warren factor,
Warren
yeah,
factor,
yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Name it after the town of how they need to proceed from now on for banks.
Yeah.
You know, it's good, but we'd rather have our bank open.
Right. But in the meantime, the bank is still open, so, you know, they were scheduled to
still doing
close in the middle of May. It's now June 2nd, so.
And they have not made a decision yet
Right,
on what
to my
they're gonna do.
knowledge.
And, you know, it was a good meeting and, you know, it was informative. They were concerned about the fact that 30% of their accounts closed and moved on. But that was easily explained with, well, if you tell somebody in a town that you're gonna be closing your doors in the next few weeks, some of those clients are gonna move on.
Hello?
They're gonna find different banks, you know, because they don't wanna lose their money, you know, they're gonna do what they need to do. So that's why, you could explain that, and, you know, if they were to remain open in some capacity, I think they would regain those accounts back. But they need to gain the trust of the community again. If they were to keep a bank limited access or through ATM or some other function. But it was a very interesting meeting and talked for over an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And they explained their process and they explained their concerns and why they didn't move forward yet. And they were very surprised about the community really coming forward and saying, hey, we oppose this decision and we need our bank. And they were very impressed with how much our residents were passionate about this. And, you know, they were very intrigued by it. At one point, some language is used. It caught us off guard, but it showed how passionate they were about this too, and the whole issue, and having communication. So, it was very good. So we'll see, you know. Are you good?
Done.
Any questions?
Well, I'd just like to say kudos to anybody who sent a letter from the
Yeah.
town. It helped. Like, every vote counts, right? Every letter helped.
Everything.
I'll also say that somebody pointed out to me today that Cornerstone is a mutual bank, which means it's kind of there to serve the public, to serve the community, right? It's not necessarily profits above all. So that's something that should be considered, you know, that they're here to serve the people in the communities they're in. They're not just in to make a buck and get out. So that process of talking to us would have been invaluable
Yeah.
in trying to work with them.
And the commissioner of the banks really was not happy that that communication wasn't happening. And that we were informed by our residents because it was already posted on the bank door.
Right, that's how a lot
Yeah,
of.
that's how we got alerted.
Yeah,
And again, of course, we're gonna go to fight for everybody and do what we gotta do. And they weren't happy that the bank didn't come to us directly and say, hey, this is what we wanna do. This is our plan. And then when we did talk to Mr. Tallman, and you guys talked to Mr. Tallman too, and, you know, my conversation with him, his decision was made. It was a financial matter, it was not turning enough profits, not enough counts. So they need to invest their assets in other locations. and because we were all steadfast and not just taking that as an answer, that the bank's still open for now. So, and at least we'll have some sort of communication, because I don't think the commissioner of banks is just gonna say, yeah, okay, you don't wanna talk to him, it's a done deal. She wants them to come to the table with us and talk and work something out. So that's, I take that as a win, you know?
And I'll just say, I'd really like to have a human presence there. Just having an ATM just seems like letting them off the hook. I'd like to see, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday morning, or, I don't know, Tuesday,
Some reduced
Friday.
hours.
Some reduced hours.
Some reduced hours, right?
Mm.
I don't know what that looks like, but something where you can go and talk to a human and do your banking.
And we did mention that, and we discussed that to the commissioner, and, you know, expressed that a lot of our seniors don't do the smartphones and, you know, computers and stuff like that, and their interaction is with the person in the bank. That's how they deal with their business, and that's how they do it. And taking that away from them really hurts the community, because a lot of them are very limited on their mobility and where they can get around in the community. And they can't be traveling to other towns to do business for banking. You know, they may be on a fixed income and getting their amount that they need for that week to go buy groceries or whatever, and they gotta deal with somebody, you know? And they understood how passionate we were, and they understand that they were very concerned about the senior population, and we gave them a lot to think about,
Yeah.
so.
Good.
That's basically where the status was with that one. Do you have any questions?
No, just a small comment, you know, I think this is a good example for the community to have open communication. We have an open door policy, you know, other business, you know, maybe they're struggling, or maybe they wanna expand, whatever, you know, come in and share with us and see how we can help, or, you know, point them in a good direction.
Joe?
Well, I'm surprised that.
Can you just say who you are again?
Joe Contract. I'm surprised that North Brookfield Savings hasn't made an offer for that bank. They have an office in West Brookfield, Ware, and Palmer, all around us. Here's the bank right on 67. It would make sense for them to say, all right, we'll take it.
There could be something happening in the background that we don't know about, certainly, but yeah.
They're not gonna disclose who they're talking to about
Yeah,
business deals like that.
Yeah.
That's between the bank and whoever. The last I heard, they were looking at selling to a private businessman in the community. So, and that's the last I heard. But the bank's still open for now, so we figure something out. Did you have anything else?
No, that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. There was, I can do that on comments, concerns. So we're on to comments and concerns now. Do you have any?
I don't.
Do you have any?
Well, Memorial Day was awesome. All of the four of us were there, and I think it was a pretty good activity for the town and the community.
And
Beautiful
you do
day.
great pictures. You make my kids look adorable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They are adorable.
They are.
But yeah, I agree, it was a great event, good turnout. Becky Sarah and Richard Demetrius did a great job with the veterans and organizing the whole thing, and there were the glitches, but they did a great job with it, and kudos to them, and we had a great turnout. Every time we turned around, there were people lining the roads, and
Yeah.
it was great, you know, it was very good to see everybody participate, and it's a beautiful day. You know, it turned out to be great. And I thank everybody that participated. Chiefs, you guys look great in your uniforms, all spiffy. And your guys too. Everybody did a good job. CERT team did a great job. I know I seen Lisa out there, and, you know, she was doing her job and doing good. And, you know, Travis was out there getting it all on
Camera.
video,
Yeah.
running with that camera, and, you know, we're gonna have to do some sort of vehicle mounted thing for him next year. But everybody did great. It was a great event. And thank you very much for everybody turning out and honoring our veterans, and, you know, the past, present, and, you know, the ones that paid the ultimate sacrifice for us all. Thank you very much for that. So, thank you.
Can I just say one thing?
No.
I think okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's interesting that Memorial Day seems to be more about veterans, but to me, Memorial Day is all those that go out and fight. Like all the firefighters and the police and that have lost their lives, and 9/11 is a perfect example. But how many times do we lose firemen and police, and that day is for those guys too. And I think it's just really important that we do recognize that it is a Memorial Day, not just veterans. Veterans has their day, but this is a Memorial Day for all those people that lost their lives.
And it is a day to sit there and reflect back of all the people that have sacrificed. And other than that, I have, we had a resident, very concerned resident, come to us from Pine Street. She addressed some issues with some property on Pine Street that is being overgrown. The town removed the house years back, and the property is basically becoming overgrown. We did look into that, like we said we were going to, and we do not own that property yet. That property is going through the legal process. It is still owned by an individual, a resident, and we're still trying to go through the process to foreclose on that property. So we don't own that property yet, so we can't maintain it, we can't do anything to it. That is the private property owner's responsibility to do. But we did look into it, and, you know, if we do win in court and take over that property, the town will be responsible for maintaining that property at that point, but we don't own that property at this current time. So there's not much we can do with that particular piece of property. I wish I could have better news for that resident, but we can't go onto somebody else's property yet.
So you would reach back out to her and just explain the situation?
I haven't talked to the resident yet.
Okay.
But I looked into it, and I talked with Dawn, and she gave me the status of 71 Pine Street, and the town removed the house off of there because of health concerns with the Board of Health and the fire department, I believe.
There was a structure fire there. Unfortunately, it was well involved before anybody even called it in. It happened early on a Sunday morning. I lived across the street from it at that time, so I woke up to the tone.
Yeah.
And it was well involved at that time, unfortunately, and, you know, it was an unsafe building, and it was ordered to be taken down for safety reasons.
So, you know, since then, it's been just a vacant lot, and it's getting overgrown, but again, we can't do anything to it yet. So. All right, I think that's it.
Okay.
No more? You?
No.
Karen? Anybody in the audience? Anything going on?
Shredded day on Saturday.
Yes.
We got the Shred It going on Saturday.
Spent the last 3 days getting all my shredded stuff ready.
Yeah.
I've got a box I'm bringing.
I got many.
Yeah, I'm gonna be bringing quite a bit of stuff too. Get rid of it all. So if you wanna bring something, as
10
far
to
as
noon?
residents, it is
10 to noon.
10 to noon.
It will be back
For the
by
residents?
the shredded truck will be back by the gym.
Okay, so we'll be back behind the building, by the gym. Throw any of your, whatever you don't want anybody else to ever see again in there, and it'll be shredded to dust for you. So.
CDs also.
CDs. What else do they do? They do hard
CDs.
drives,
I think, right?
Yep, hard drives.
computer hard drives.
Yep,
So you wanna get rid of any of that stuff and make sure the wrong people don't get a hold of it, bring it down and
Shred it up.
Karen will toss it right in there and shred it for you.
yep.
Alright,
Just to mention, this is a free service for the
it
board.
is free.
It is free.
This is free for the town. It doesn't cost you anything. So clear out those offices, get rid of all those old bills and credit card statements and anything else and old CDs and whatever pictures that you don't want people to see. Get rid of them. I'm talking about me when I was in high school. I don't wanna see those pictures ever again. I had a mullet. So,
Ah.
I had hair down to the middle of my back.
We definitely want
It
to see
was all
those.
feathered. Yeah, I don't wanna see those.
Come on,
pictures.
share your screen, let's go.
No, those pictures are going to the shredder.
I'll save some.
All right,
Dave,
yes, sir.
could I suggest that sometime during the summer, the town have a hazardous waste disposal day?
Yeah, we're looking into it. Board of Health runs that one.
Oh.
So, and I know they were looking into it, they were looking at a date, we were trying to get it so we could do a town-wide shred it, hazardous waste disposal, and electronic disposal day, but
Didn't happen.
it didn't happen that way, everybody's conflicting, and it's logistics. So, we got the shredded truck here, free of charge, that's a step. Some people could clean out some stuff, and we're making progress. And we gotta check in, if we could check in when the Board of Health is looking at doing that. I think Brianna had a date that they were looking at, so if we can look at that again. So. All right, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so moving on, correspondence. Do we have correspondence?
No.
Okay. Good. All right, so next meeting date is actually changed because we're having an executive session.
We are.
Are you tracking that? Can you do that on Tuesday? 6 o'clock?
I can't check my phone, it's right here. This Tuesday?
Coming up Tuesday,
This
yeah.
coming up Tuesday.
All it is to go to over a host community agreement, because it's a negotiating thing. We have to look at what we're gonna negotiate for terms with them for a host community agreement.
Tuesday at 6?
Mhm.
I'll confirm.
Okay.
Gotta check with the boss.
If anything, we still got 2 of us.
Yeah.
We could still proceed. And, so we're gonna be doing that on Tuesday, and Tuesday is.
The 7th.
The 7th. Yeah, my calendar hasn't been changed.
I'm
yet.
sorry.
What month is May? Oh, that's May. All right. So, Tuesday, the 7th of June, and that's gonna be at 6 PM, and that's gonna be an executive session. And that's gonna be posted here shortly. And then our next regular meeting date, we're skipping this coming Thursday and doing the 16th. So the following Thursday, and that will be at 6 PM also. So, no regular meeting next Thursday, but it will continue on the 16th of June. Okay. So,
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
all in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. We are adjourned.